Hey, Focal Point fam, buckle up because President Trump just dropped a bombshell that's got Hollywood shaking and the global film industry in a frenzy. Imagine this, a 100% tariff on foreign movies flooding into the US. That's right, double the price for films made outside America. But what does this mean for your Netflix binges, your local movie theater, or even the jobs in Tinseltown? Is this a genius move to bring movie making back to the USA? Or a chaotic misstep in the trade war? Stick with me because we're diving deep into this wild announcement, unpacking the confusion, the stakes, and what it means for you. Welcome to Focal Point, where we zoom in on the stories that matter. Let's get started. This weekend, President Trump took to Truth Social to announce a 100% tariff on movies produced outside the United States. His reasoning? Hollywood is being devastated by foreign productions, which he claims are stealing jobs and undermining the U.S. economy. He even went as far as calling this a national security threat, comparing foreign films to an economic invasion. Trump's goal is clear. He wants to make movies in America again, bringing back jobs and keeping production dollars stateside. But here's where it gets messy. Nobody seems to know exactly what this tariff applies to or how it'll work. Let's break it down. When you think of a foreign film, you might picture an art house flick in French or a Bollywood blockbuster. But the reality of modern filmmaking is way more complicated. Movies are global creations. A film might be scripted in Los Angeles, cast in New York, shot in London, edited in Toronto, and have special effects done in Seoul. So what counts as a foreign movie? Is it where the funding comes from, where it's shot, or where the post-production happens? Trump's announcement is vague, leaving Hollywood insiders and economists scratching their heads. For example, take a blockbuster like Mission Impossible: Fallout. Parts of it were filmed in London, Paris, and New Zealand. Would that face the tariff? What about a Marvel movie shot on a soundstage in the UK to save costs? Or a Netflix original produced in Spain? The lack of clarity is causing chaos. Eric Gardner, a correspondent for Puck News, put it bluntly, "I'm not sure Trump himself knows what's going on." And that's a problem when you're talking about an industry as massive and interconnected as film. Here's why this matters. The U.S. film industry employs millions and generates billions in revenue. But it's no secret that Hollywood's been struggling. Talk to anyone in Los Angeles, and they'll tell you jobs in the motion picture industry are drying up. Why? It's often cheaper to shoot movies abroad. Countries like Canada, the UK, and even the UAE offer hefty tax incentives or rebates to lure filmmakers. For instance, Abu Dhabi has become a hotspot for blockbusters, offering rebates that make filming there a steal. California, on the other hand, has been slow to match these incentives, making it cost-prohibitive to shoot in the Golden State. Trump's tariff is aimed at leveling the playing field. By slapping a 100% tax on foreign films, he hopes to discourage studios from filming overseas and bring production back to the U.S. It's part of his broader push to reorient global trade and prioritize American workers. He's even hinted at new trade deals this week to support this goal. But here's the catch. Tariffs are usually applied to physical goods, like cars or steel, when they cross borders. Movies? They're intellectual property, a service. They're not shipped in crates. They're streamed on Netflix or screened in theaters. So how do you even impose a tariff on a movie? This is where things get murky. Would the tariff apply to movie tickets for foreign films? To streaming fees? Or would producers pay a tax to bring their movies into the U.S. market? Without clear answers, the industry is in limbo. Gardner points out that defining a foreign film is a nightmare. If a movie is shot in the U.S. but has special effects done in Asia, does it count? What about a film funded by a foreign studio but produced entirely in California? The executive order and Truth Social post offer no specifics, leaving studios, theaters, and consumers in the dark. Let's talk about the impact on you, the viewer. If this tariff goes through, it could change how you watch movies. Imagine going to the theater and paying double for tickets to a foreign film, or even a Hollywood blockbuster shot partially overseas. That could push people towards streaming, but even platforms like Netflix aren't safe. Netflix spent over half its budget last year on international productions, and with 70% of its 300 million subscribers outside the US, this tariff could hit them hard. In fact, Netflix's stock dropped 3.5% after the announcement, a sign that investors are nervous. If tariffs make foreign content pricier, Netflix might pass those costs onto subscribers, hiking your monthly bill. But it's not just about prices. This could limit what you get to watch. Foreign films, whether they're Oscar-winning dramas or action-packed blockbusters, bring diversity to our screens. A tariff could make it harder for smaller international films to reach U.S. audiences, especially in art house cinemas. And for streaming giants like Netflix, which rely on global content to attract viewers, cutting back on foreign productions could mean fewer choices for you. On the flip side, if the tariff boosts U.S. production, we might see more American stories on screen. But at what cost? Now let's zoom out to the bigger picture, the economy. Justin Wolfers, an economics professor at the University of Michigan, warns that this tariff opens a dangerous new front in the trade war. Unlike goods, services like movies are a huge U.S. export. American consulting firms, software companies, and medical imaging businesses send services worldwide, far outpacing what we import. If other countries retaliate with tariffs on U.S. services, it could hurt American workers in those industries. Wolfers calls this move poorly thought through, pointing out that Trump's claim of a national emergency to justify the tariff doesn't even hold up under the Emergency Powers Act, which doesn't apply to movies. Art Hogan, a chief market strategist at B. Riley Financial, agrees, saying this tariff is like opening a new door to more bad news. Markets are already jittery, hoping for positive trade deals with countries like Canada or Japan. Instead, this announcement adds uncertainty, and Hogan compares it to Trump randomly targeting something like the International House of Pancakes. With a 90-day negotiating period ticking down, the longer this trade war drags on, the more economic damage it could do. So what's the takeaway? Trump's 100% tariff on foreign films is a bold move to revive American filmmaking, but it's riddled with problems. It's unclear, impractical, and could backfire by raising prices, limiting choices, and sparking retaliation. Hollywood's in a tough spot, and while the idea of bringing jobs back home sounds great, tariffs might not be the answer. California's governor has pushed for tax breaks to keep production local. Maybe that's a smarter play than taxing foreign films. Focal Point fam, this is a story that's still unfolding, and we'll keep you updated as details emerge. What do you think? Will this tariff save Hollywood or just make your movie nights pricier? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button if you're loving the deep dives, and subscribe to stay in the loop. This is Focal Point, where we cut through the noise to bring you the real story. See you in the next one.